All right, welcome everyone to the Eve Growing Concepts. Today I'm going to narrate as the video plays out. This is an update on my last video that I did when I filled this up with house compost and sawdust. Now these are scutterflies or fruit flies that's got in there somehow. So much for nothing getting in, nothing getting out type thing. I think there's a little hole somewhere that they're getting in there for, and this temperature is just over 100 and just over 100. So it's not as hot as I'd like. I said in the last video, no doubt I'll get up to 160, but I haven't got there. And I'll explain why. I think, I got invaded by black soldier fly larvae. Black soldier flies, they lay their eggs on the screens, and then they go into the compost like that. Now, do I want hot heat or do I want black soldier fly larvae? I think inevitably I want black soldier fly larvae, truthfully, but I don't have any chickens. I don't have any fish. I don't have any ducks. I have nothing to feed that very high protein to them, but I'm excited that I got them. One day I'll master that heavenly creature as well. So this is me standing on a log to help fluff the pile. We don't turn it, we fluff it. And these vertical 55-gallon drums that I feel are amazing on many levels. First of all, it's a closed loop system with this barrel. You don't lose any of the liquid. So that liquid there that's coming to the left, when it goes into that little bucket, I could pour it back on there and help add more moisture to it, help regulate the thermophilic action that, of course, in this bin I'm not getting. I still contend I will, and when I do get it, I'll show you. But this video, August 14th, is when it was started, I think, and now is September. It's almost a month. Now it's September. No, it's not. Now it's September 5th. While the time is flying by. So I pour that back on there. This is a great way for if on balconies, to do composting on your balconies. A 55-gallon drum, especially a household of one or two, that'll take a long time. Get two of those and juggle them back and forth like Joseph Jenkins does with his. When one is done, you start another one, and by the time the other one's done, the first one's totally soil. So I'll put a little air holes in there, and I put that plastic on there to keep the moisture in, and then I cover it just so I can keep that carbon-nitrogen ratio. I don't want any pouring rain getting over there and mess my experiment, if you will, that I have no notes with, which I should, because there's a lot going on. I'm breaking down lots of organics with these 55-gallon drums. This particular drum here is micro-shredded cardboard with liquid slurry. Again, whenever we urine, pasta water, coffee water, any jar we clean out, applesauce, all those sugars and all that nutrients is saved. It's just as important. All is sacred, nothing wasted, right? And I saturate all this micro-shredded cardboard, and the worms love it. So that's a great secret for anybody who wants to maybe start worm farming or something like that. Talk about free food. All that liquid slurry is poured into it. And I'll fluff this one up too. I don't need to stand up on anything with this one because it's a little lighter. It's a little lighter mix. And I did have it to the air holes, those aeration holes there. I had it up to there, and it drops because as it's composting. So this ice auger, look on Facebook. I get these are so cheap and they're invincible. I contend, and I've never bought one yet because they're so expensive. The ones you get on Amazon or something, they're like $80. And they're certainly not as rugged as this thing that I can get secondhand all day long where I live, here in New England, where people put holes in ice. I contend that it probably does a little bit damage to the worms, the black soldier fly larvae, but I think it's minor compared to aerating that whole bin. So I love that tool anyway, especially when you're dealing with 55-gallon drums. Nobody goes vertically with them because of the heavy weight. And that lid happens to fit right on there perfectly. This bin too this was my house compost. Like the sawdust, I did the same thing with this, but I used micro-shredded cardboard with this, mixed with, that was my carbon and house compost, everything, folks. There was no no-nos. I added with this one. Black soldier flies did invade this one as well. They're in there, and I'm getting ready to add my reds. The thermophilic action is almost done. I still got a lot. I think I'm up to 130 with this bin here, and you can tell by the steam coming out of it. And I will fluff it up, but I still love it in the red. I love to get it as hot as I can for as long as I can. So this tool again is a must. You fluff it up. Look at that steam coming out of there. There were black soldier flies living in there with that kind of heat, but I'm not ready to add my reds. I will add my reds to this, and then they'll polish it off with their worm castings, and I'll have this compost in these bins easily within six months, easily. Half a year. And I could juggle 3. A family of mine, with the parties we have, 4 is great. I have a bunch, and I'm going to get a couple more because I like to experiment with a lot of different materials to break it down, turn it to soil. Never, ever give your organics to the man folks. Why? Because they make a lot of money moving this very heavy weight around, and they're doing the wrong things with it. They're adding it with all of our plastics and all the other silly stuff that we just throw away and disregard. And that's the problem with how we handle our outputs, our stuff that we consume. We just don't know how to deal with it the right way. Organics, you got to compost it. That holds the secret to saving the world on many levels. So I always put a cap on it. Now I'm going over to my pet manures, which is only a cat manure now. I used to have a dog, but this is 2-part system. That barrel right there is what I'm working on. This one was finished probably, I don't know, 2 weeks now. But no doubt by the time that left barrel is full, this material will be total worm castings with a ton of cocoons in there. Okay, so you got cat urine, cat feces, and I know people will say, Mark, you shouldn't be doing that. But I contend Mother Nature's got us covered on so many levels. And the science is there where red wigglers, like hot composting and even cold composting, if you leave it long enough, greatly reduce pathogens. That's it, folks. This is what I'm working on now. This is it. Mark, keep going. Over and out. We will most certainly heal this planet one urban farmer at a time.